This is Autophobia, a short story written by myself. You traitor! Wavering outrage echoed within Janice's ears, crashing into him as he shut his eyes tight. You backstabber! I can't believe you did this! I would prefer it if you didn't throw rationality out the window. Janus tried to ignore the pounding in his head, a seemingly nonchalant expression remaining on his face. If you wanted rationality, then you should have thought about the consequences. Please, Remus, I am in no mood for another one of your outbursts. Please, nothing. I saw you leave. I saw you go over to their side. You didn't even tell me. You abandoned me, just like that. I was merely trying to make my opinions visible. Is that such a crime? Opinions, huh? I can't believe you. You never thought to even tell me your name, and suddenly you just share everything with them? We've always stuck together. I thought I could trust you. That struck Janus hard, slashing through him like a knife. You can trust me, Remus. You know that. I would never hurt you. Liar! You're nothing but an untruthful betrayer. You hurt me, you hurt my stupid brother, and you're about to hurt yourself because I'm done. The thought of being deserted again pierced his mind, sending shudders down his spine. He pushed it away, momentarily banishing his thoughts. I wasn't going to leave you, I promise. Then what were you doing, Janice? Remus hissed, his eyes aglow with hatred. Janus shrunk back at the mention of his name, backing away as Remus towered over him. I was just trying to help us, to make things better. Really? Because if I'm not mistaken, I remember someone referring to his closest friend as the evil twin. Roman was right. You can't be trusted. You're a cruel and dishonest snake who doesn't care about anyone but himself. That's not true, Janus stuttered. I really thought I had found someone who understood, Remus muttered, momentarily lowering his gaze. But you're just a selfish coward who pushes away anyone who comes too close. I would never. I don't want to hear your lies. Fine. Why don't you just leave then? It's not like I would care, Janus snapped, Remus's face suddenly falling. He immediately shrunk back, realizing what he had said. No, wait. Remus, I didn't mean it. I didn't mean that, I swear. Remus's face transformed into a hardened expression, glaring daggers at the deceitful side. You know what? Virgil was smart to leave. At least now he doesn't have to worry about you and your two-faced schemes. He turned and began storming past several doorways, right towards the imagination. Please, Remus! I can't lose you too. Save it. Remus, wait! Go on. Join those stuck-up light sides. I'm sure you'll be much better off than you ever were around a burden like me. With that, Remus had disappeared, leaving nothing but Janus and an empty corridor. It felt as if he had been torn apart from the inside out. Janus begged his mind to come up with something to say, some way to apologize to his closest companion, though everything was blurred. He willed his feet to move, to chase after his only remaining family, though he was frozen. No, he muttered, frantically running his fingers through his hair. No, he can't be. First Virgil, now Remus, the only person he had left, gone before he could even explain himself. Janus tried to focus, though his breaths became ragged, wavering more with each second. He began pacing, attempting to shake the worried thoughts from his mind, though each step caused them to echo louder. Repeating over and over within his mind, he was alone. No one could help him now. There was no one left who understood, who reminded him of his importance. Silent jeers flashed within his mind, growing louder and resounding again and again. Alone. It was all too much. Janus raced forward, his shoes pounding against the floor and tears stinging his eyes. He frantically gazed around the corridor, searching for someone, anyone. Faster and faster he ran, doors whizzing past his vision and creating a blurred mess. He had no notion as to where he was going, nor did he care. All that mattered to Janus was escape from a petrifying solitude. Janus continued sprinting until the atmosphere became brighter, a cheerful impression seeming to envelop the area. Alone, alone! Wrathful screams continued flashing within his head, erasing all rationality. A flash of white caught his eye, and he instantly paused, stopped by a sense of familiarity. 4 pristine white doors now surrounded him, each framed with a different color. The doors lined in red, blue, and indigo all appeared slightly chipped and worn, while the door adorned with violet remained almost untarnished. Janus instantly recognized where he was. With shallow breaths, he struggled to maintain coherent thoughts, failing as panicked phrases continued to encompass his subconsciousness. "Get away!" it shouted. "Flee until you can escape the isolation. Unwanted, unloved, unprotected, alone. You have to get away, you have to." He couldn't breathe. There was no way he could break free. The seclusion was tethered to him, following him no matter how far he ran. With Remus gone, no one was there for Janus. An immense terror filled his veins, and he felt himself bolting towards the doors, dashing towards the only way out. He desperately rapped on the doors, hands shaking. "Someone answer, please!" he called. "I need someone. I can't get away. Alone, alone, alone. Please! I can't be alone. I need someone, please!" Janus continued to knock upon the white wood until his knuckles ached, his pleading finally shifting into a choked sob. "Please!" He sank to the floor with a thud. Trembling, Janus shut his eyes tight, hoping he could force out the panicked thoughts. They pierced him with horrifying clarity and continued to grow louder, repeating like that of a flashing light. Alone. Janus didn't know how to calm himself, when all he could hear was a cruel ridicule of his greatest fears. Curling tighter, he wrapped his arms around himself as if he could keep himself from shattering if he just held tight enough. In the distance, Janus could hear his hushed sobs. Alone. Still, the thoughts were louder, ringing within his ears with each breath. He held tighter, burying his face in his knees and holding his eyes shut. A soft click echoed behind him, though he paid it no attention. That is, until a low, familiar voice emerged as well. Janus? Janus's eyes shot open, and he whipped around to face the side he had least hoped to encounter. Immediately, he backed away. "What are you doing here?" the voice started, though as he caught sight of Janus's eyes glossed with tears and quivering hands, his expression shifted into something much more concerned. "Are you okay?" I... Janus felt a new wave of tears stinging the back of his eyes. "Hey, it's okay. Breathe for me, all right?" I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to," he started, beginning to break down before he was swept into Virgil's arms, now surrounded by black and purple. "Don't you dare apologize," Virgil muttered, holding Janus tighter. "Don't you ever apologize for being afraid. You hear me?" "Okay." "Do you want to tell me what happened?" "Remus, he saw me go into the light side realm. He saw me reveal my name and left. I betrayed his trust like the lying snake I am, and he left me." "Janus, don't say that about yourself. You may be cunning and tactful when it comes to self-care, but don't ever refer to yourself that way." "But that's what I am!" Janus shouted, burying his head in Virgil's shoulder, trying to conceal the tears. "I'm cruel and unsympathetic, and now I'm alone. I'm alone, and I can't handle it. It terrifies me. Without anyone, I'm unwanted and unprotected. I'm trapped in my own solitude, and I can't get out." "Hey, it's all right. Focus on the sound of my voice, okay?" Janice nodded softly, and Virgil held him closer, rubbing circles along his back. I'm here. You're not alone. You're safe, you are wanted, and you are loved. It's hard and it's scary, I know, but I need you to breathe. In and out. You're not alone. I'm right here. Janus inhaled with wavering breaths, allowing himself to calm down. Virgil muttered soft affirmations, continuing to embrace the panicked side. Over time, he could feel the trembling in his hands begin to calm, his head becoming clearer. Slowly, the screams within his mind became hushed, Virgil's voice becoming the only sound within the corridor. He lifted his head from Virgil's shoulder, his eyes still red. I'm sorry, he started, stopping Virgil before he could interrupt. About everything. About deceiving you before, about not realizing how I was making you feel, and about letting you go. I should have looked back that day. I should have just apologized to you, but I just made it worse by what I said, and I never thought to ask if you were okay, and... Janus wrapped his arms around Virgil once again, holding him like the world would fall apart if he were to ever let go. I'm the literal representation of deceit, and my place is clear, so I might as well tell you the biggest lie that I know. His eyes met the anxious side zone. I'm fine. I don't regret that day, and I don't miss you dearly. I have no idea of the pain that I've caused you, and I'm not sorry. Janice, I know things can never be the way they were before. The damage is done, but I just figured I should apologize, even if it was too late. Sure, with Remus off somewhere in the imagination, I'll still be alone, but I'll learn to live with it, somehow. Janice, Virgil said, stopping the deceitful side from his rambling. You're not going to be alone. You didn't let me finish. What I was meaning to say is, I'm sorry too. I want you to know that you weren't the only reason that I left, and I miss you as well. Still, you were right when you said things can't be the way they were before, but they can be even better. What? Though I'm now considered a light side and you a dark, that doesn't mean we have to be enemies. I miss all the memories that I formed with you and Remus. I didn't want that to go away. Does that mean you'll come back? Not permanently, Janice quickly added. I know how much those three mean to you, but every so often? Of course. I'm sure Remus and I can trash the dark side realm for you, just like old times. Janice stifled a laugh. Oh yes, that would be absolutely wonderful. Though, I'm not sure if that can happen anytime soon. Remus is still fuming about, well, you know what. Well, maybe we can fix that. Virgil smiled. It seems to me that a real apology can go pretty far. That it can. Though, what will the others say if they find out we made amends? Who cares? It's not like they can really do anything about it. The deceitful side chuckled. And there's the bold side I was looking for. What do you mean? I'm always this edgy. Sure, Janice smiled, walking alongside Virgil as they approached the imagination. Because singing about feelings and falling off a skateboard is super edgy. Like you're any better. I literally found you out here sobbing. All right, fine. I guess we're both not as dark as we thought we were. He smirked as they arrived upon a large red and green door. It appeared to practically shimmer, light from whatever wonder lay inside shining from the doorframe. With a deep breath, Janice glanced warily at the doorknob. Virgil quickly noticed his expression and offered him a comforting glance. You going to be all right? Yeah. Virgil gave a reassuring smile and slowly turned the doorknob with a click. He gestured into the vast world, filled with blue skies and countless lands. After you. At that moment, something clicked within Janus. Each shrill scream that used to remind him of the dangers of loss, of the fear of isolation, seemed to simply fade. The internal call silenced, no longer repeating within his head, and with it came a new realization. Though he failed to realize it before, Janus had a family. Sure, it was chaotic, slightly dysfunctional, and interesting, but it was a family nonetheless. No matter how far apart they seemed, they would still be together. And just like that, any terror of solitude disappeared. Janus wasn't alone, and he would never be again, for true bonds are those hidden beneath the surface. This has been Autophobia, a short story written by myself. Thank you all so very much for listening, and I will see you next time for another story.